My mom did not invite me for dinner. She invited me to be framed. The moment I stepped into her kitchen, my stepdad locked the back door. My brother Kyle lifted his phone and hit record. My mother slid a quitclaim deed across the table like it was a menu. She told me to sign the house over. I did not move. She smiled wider. She said, if I did not sign, she would call the cops. She would tell them I broke in and attacked her. Kyle was already recording, she said. The cops would believe her. That was the first time I realized my family did not just want my house. They wanted my freedom. Before I tell you what I did next, comment the coldest thing your family ever did to you, the moment you realized love was leveraged to them, because mine tried to steal my grandmother's house and threatened to turn me into a criminal if I refused. I am 29, Phoenix, Arizona, and in my family I was never the favorite. I was the backup plan, the emergency fund, the scapegoat, with a stable job and a quiet personality perfect for blame. Kyle was the golden child. If he failed, it was life being unfair. If I succeeded, it was luck. If bills needed paying, it was family helps family. My grandmother saw it. She used to tap my forehead and say, you are the only one in this family who thinks. She gave me an old keychain, faded leather with a tiny metal cactus. She told me, this is home, this is your safety. When she passed, she left the house to me, not to the family, not to Kyle, to me. My mom smiled through the funeral like she was patient. A week later, she tried to erase me from the paperwork. Back in that kitchen, she tapped the deed again. She said, we are putting it into a trust, the Rivera family trust. She would manage it. Kyle needed stability. I said no. My stepdad took a half step forward, not enough to be obvious, enough to be felt. Kyle's phone stayed aimed at my face like a weapon. Mom's voice dropped soft and deadly. She said, I did not earn that house. Grandma felt sorry for me. That is when the daughter in me died. I did not argue. I did not cry. I did not even raise my voice. I said the single most dangerous word a greedy person can hear, okay. Their faces changed instantly. Relief, confidence, hunger. Mom said, good, sign it. I shook my head like I was scared. I said, one condition. Mom narrowed her eyes. She asked what? I said, if I am signing away the house, you take responsibility for everything tied to it. Taxes, insurance, any legal issues. Put it in writing. I am not getting dragged into anything later. Kyle scoffed. He said, it is paid off. I said, then it is easy. Put it in writing. Greedy people love paper when they think paper only hurts you. Mom opened her laptop. She said, fine. Now here is what they did not know. I work in forensic auditing and compliance. I do not just check numbers. I build timelines. I trace motive through money. I know exactly what turns family drama into a case file. I do not just find mistakes. I make them undeniable. I stood up. I said, bathroom. My stepdad started to follow me. Of course he did. He did not trust me. But he made one mistake. He watched my hands, not my environment. I walked past the front door and looked at the doorbell camera, tiny black dot still watching. Then I opened my phone and checked the smart lock app for my house. Admin access was mine. Logs were available. Cloud backup was off. I turned it on, because if they were going to frame me, I needed more than feelings. I needed data. I went back to the table and said, do it through DocuSign. Mom frowned. She asked why. I let my voice wobble just enough to seem weak. I said, because you just threatened to call the cops and lie. I want everything official. Kyle laughed. He said, she thinks she matters. Mom nodded. She said, fine, DocuSign. And right there, she agreed to hand me the thing that kills liars. An audit trail. Kyle tilted his phone closer to my face. He told me to say, I am signing voluntarily. Mom loved that she said, yes, say it. So I did, short, clean, calm. I am signing voluntarily. Then I added one more line quietly, like it was for myself. I am choosing the clean way. Kyle did not notice what he just recorded, not a confession of guilt, an implication there was a dirty way too. Mom started typing extra text into the DocuSign packet because greedy people cannot help themselves. She typed, I confirm you have no claim after tonight. I did not stop her. Overreach is evidence. DocuSign sent the packet. Mom signed first, stepdad signed, Kyle signed, laughing like this was a game. Now it was my turn. I stared at the signature line for 2 seconds and made my face look empty. I signed exactly once. Not the deed. Not the trust. The responsibility statement. The one where my mom confirmed she was assuming responsibility effective immediately for a property she did not legally control yet. Then I said, email me the completed copy now. Mom's smile twitched. She said, you will get it. I repeated, now. Kyle groaned. He said, just sign the deed already. Mom clicked send completed document. My phone buzzed. And in that buzz, the trap tightened. Mom tried to finish me on camera. She lifted Kyle's phone like a judge and told me to tell the camera I am leaving because I regret how I treated them. I nodded like I was ashamed. Then I said slowly, clearly, I am leaving because you threatened to call the police and lie unless I sign. The room froze for a half second. Mom blinked. Stepdad's jaw tightened. Kyle's smile slipped. Then Mom snapped that I was twisting her words. But Kyle's phone had already captured my sentence. Not perfect evidence by itself, but enough to poison their voluntary story. Mom stood up like she won anyway. She said, you can stay tonight. Tomorrow you start packing. Kyle flicked my cactus keychain on the counter. The metal clicked like a tiny insult. Then he went to the closet and pulled out a shoebox, my grandmother's papers. He said he would take these just in case. He said it like he was taking his own property. I did not stop him, because thieves steal twice when they think they got away with it. I drove home and did not go inside. I sat in my car and opened the DocuSign audit trail. Timestamp IP device ID. Then I opened my smart lock logs, and my stomach went still. At 10:57 p.m., Kyle's backup code was used. At 10:59 p.m., the front door opened. At 11:03 p.m., the garage opened. I had not been home. I opened the doorbell camera feed. There he was. Kyle. Hood up. Carrying a box. Walking out of my house like it belonged to him. They were not just trying to steal the house. They were trying to delete the story. But deleting evidence creates a trail. Now I needed one more thing. A confession so clean that no lawyer could spin it. So I baited my mother. I texted her and asked her to email me, confirming she told Kyle to go into my house and take my grandmother's documents. I said I needed it for my records. She replied immediately. She wrote, yes, he picked them up, they belong to the family trust now. There it was. In writing. That she authorized someone to enter my home and remove my belongings. Kyle texted me separately. He said, stop acting crazy. You already signed. It is ours. I did not respond. I saved everything. Then I triggered the system. First call county recorder's office. I reported an attempted deed transfer signed under coercion connected to unlawful entry and document theft. I requested an emergency hold on recording pending investigation. Second call my bank's compliance line. I flagged any account activity connected to the trust as disputed with supporting evidence. DocuSign audit trail theft timeline. Written authorization from my mother. Compliance does not feel guilty. Compliance freezes. Third police report unlawful entry theft supporting video smart lock logs, text and email confessions. I did not fight my family. I filed them. 2 days later, my mom called me from an unknown number. Her voice was raw. She said they came the police, they asked about Kyle, they asked about the documents, they took my laptop. I let the silence sit long enough for her to hear herself panic. She said, this is a misunderstanding, you need to fix it. I laughed once, not happy, just finished. I said, you told me to sign or you would call the cops and lie, that is coercion. Kyle entered my home and stole probate documents, that is burglary. She hissed that he is my brother. I said, and you are not my owner. That night, Kyle got arrested. Not for violence. Not for drama. For paperwork crimes. The kind that follow you quietly. The county put a hold on the deed recording. My attorney filed for an injunction. Mom tried to salvage it by recording a new video. She sent me a clip of her crying on camera saying I was mentally unstable and threatening the family. She thought she was smart. But she forgot the one thing that makes lies collapse: consistency. Because I still had Kyle's original recording from the kitchen where she was calm, controlling, threatening to call police unless I sign. So I forwarded her new clip to my attorney and added one line. Notice how the story changes when the system gets involved. Then the bank freeze hit. Because my mom had already started moving family funds toward the trust, greedy people cash out fast and compliance does not play with disputed ownership. Her job got nervous too. She worked in insurance fraud. Flags do not look cute on a background recheck. She got put on unpaid leave. My stepdad tried to threaten me again, one voicemail full of family loyalty and how dare you. I emailed back one line. All communication in writing. He stopped. Because bullies hate paper. Paper remembers. A week later I stood alone in my grandmother's kitchen, listening to the most expensive sound in the world. Nothing. No guilt speeches. No manipulation. No family helps family. Just quiet. I set my keys on the counter. The cactus keychain clicked against the wood. And for the first time, it did not feel like a promise. It felt like a lock. Family is not blood. It is behavior. If you have ever been the reliable one, the one they used and then blamed, subscribe. You are safe here. And comment below what you would have done if your own mother tried to steal your house and threatened to call the cops and lie.